beautiful late fall day, and I am fortunate enough to ride another Stumpjumper on the new Stumpjumper Expert, the non-EVO model, of course. This bike's got 140 mil of travel in the front, 130 in the rear. Just makes it the ultimate all-around trail bike. I'm really been a fan of bikes this size. It's just so much easier to get up the hill, do a long day on a bike like this. This bike is definitely a bit of a rocket ship out of the saddle and in the saddle. It's just a really lightweight construction. Can't believe how much lighter weight it is than the Stumpjumper EVO I reviewed. Really solid kinematics for pedaling out of the saddle. I'm really not feeling any sort of diving, even when I'm out of the saddle, just cranking. Definitely a suspension linkage that just propels you forward. Doesn't feel all squatty. And this Expert model, pretty lightweight build, and it is quite just lightweight and zippy feeling on the climb. Of course, one of the most interesting thing about these new Stumpjumpers is they did away with the classic horse link pivot point. Went to Flexstay. I have tried one Flexstay bike before, but it was aluminum. And man, I am so impressed by the feel of the carbon Flexstay that they've got engineered into this thing. I literally cannot tell the difference, which is a pretty high remark. It's got a really supple feeling suspension platform. And for around here, it's such a nice thing to not have to change out an extra pivot bolt. Just let the carbon flex and keep the maintenance down. It's a pretty sweet system. Yeah, this thing just is such a joy to climb for like a variety of reasons. One, it's quite lightweight, especially for feeling like a longer bike. It's got a 480 millimeter reach, so it's decently long, but it's got a nice little 432 millimeter chainstay, so it retains its snappiness. But to me, this bike feels pretty long and stable forward to backward, climbing and descending. But despite that length and just kind of big feeling wheelbase, it is really light. Another thing that adds to the climbing experience is just that purgatory rear tire is nice, easy rolling tire, and it's still beefed up with some grid casing. Another spot that this bike shines is just like super nice kind of seat post angle to reach and chainstay ratio. Just really couldn't feel much more solid on the climb as far as like seated super steep climbs go. It's pretty crazy how good all these new bikes are getting at climbing with the updated geometry. But certainly these new Stumpjumpers, this and the EVO, are just really stellar at keeping the front end down and just giving you a really relaxing, like steep climb position. All right, time for a little bit of fun. Time to head downhill. Oh my God, it's so greasy today. It's pretty unreal, actually. Actually feels good to hit a little bit tighter corners with a 65 head angle after riding the EVO for so long. 63 gets a little sluggish at times. Yeah, this bike is actually really quite plush feeling for 130, 140. Tire casings are fairly soft, but the suspension is pretty buttery. Definitely decently confidence inspiring with the 65 head angle and a good 480 millimeter reach. But ultimately, that 432 chainstay, it's a pretty just peppy, lighthearted bike. It's easy to pump at that size, and the funny thing is you just really, I can't particularly tell that I'm on a bike that is missing a pivot point where the frame is just flexing. It's quite a lightweight feeling bike too. It just enables you to just kind of pick it up over obstacles instead of having to time it. You just go ahead and just yank up on it. Yee-hoo! I never know what's on the other side of that jump. It's actually a properly technical bumpy trail, and this bike is pretty soft feeling and really gives me the ability to pump it more than other bigger bikes, while still giving me this kind of, you know, stiffish 130 millimeter but progressive bottomless feel that just really rebounds out of these holes nicely. This trail is actually such a good fit for this bike. Really keeps you on your toes and requires a super active ride quality. Really surprised for being, tight trees. Really surprised for being 2.35 inch tires, how soft the tires actually feel. And they're not like folding over. They're just nice and supple. This trail is just like a million holes. Woo! A couple roots that are just hell-bent on trying to kill you. That lightweight chassis is so helpful. And then it's got this really spring-like quality popping out of holes. Whew! Soaker alert. This is definitely one of the best like technical trail, you know, pumpers bikes. It's just so kind of springy, lightweight. And I couldn't believe like rebounding out of those holes. I don't know if it was the springiness of the chassis, but man, the bike would just like pop me out of those holes. All right, let's see what this bike's got on a little Irish death. Yeah, I gotta say that these brakes are decently sharp off the top, but I wish I had a little bit more braking power, as this bike can definitely get a little gnarly. Pretty quiet bike, not too much in the way of chain slap or anything like that. Woo! This bike does, between the tires and the suspension, just kind of generate a lot of traction. It's pretty crazy. It's surprisingly confidence inspiring on this insanely greasy, kind of gnarly trail as far as Galbraith is concerned. Woo! I'm really happy that this bike is so playful. It's so fun to just have like a pretty capable all-arounder, but one that just really makes you enjoy having a good time out on the trail. The peppy zippiness of that Flexstay is just really unique. It's been super fun to ride this bike, try that thing out. Such a nicely balanced geo package, long in the front, pretty short in the rear. Nice all-arounder head tube angle. So who is this bike for? This bike is just for somebody looking for that really good trail all-arounder bike that they're gonna have a good time climbing around on, but won't slow them down if they get to a little bit gnarlier trail, but ultimately just gonna make your time climbing up the mountain, super fun. And then for regular trails that most people are riding, this bike is just fantastic and peppy and just like jibby, lighthearted, enjoyable, while still absolutely crushing the climbs. So just an amazing all-around mountain bike. I think one of my biggest takes away on this bike is just how it devours the tech riding. So if you enjoyed this review, consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. And for the full write-up, head on over to freehubmag.com.